Welcome to Intermediate HIIT 3.2, and we've got a new series of 3 exercises today formatted in a high-intensity interval training workout. And of course, like I promised last week, after you've done your 2 to 4 sets of that, we're going to challenge you to repeat last week's three exercises in a time that betters last week. So last week we completed the lunge jumps, the push-ups, the fingertip push-ups, and the horizontal pull-ups in 3 minutes and 2 seconds. So you'll see if you can do that better this week. So let's get started into our warm-up. Just a quick reminder, if you don't have a pull-up station, you can still perform this workout. And when I'm doing the pull-up variation, what you're doing is your posture hold. So you're holding, pressing into the wall at this 90-degree angle, shoulders down and back. You're pressing for 10 seconds. Then you get up and you do 10 burpees of your choice, whatever level you feel comfortable with, doing 10 of those, and then back to the wall, repeating that sequence until I'm done my pull-ups. Okay, so let's get started into our warm-up. Again, today we've got a brand new series of 3 exercises, a little bit more advanced than last week. So let's get started into our little bit of a warm-up. Out in hops, we need to warm the muscles up just slightly, get a little bit of dynamic range before we get into the higher intensity interval. Out in hops, making sure your knees aren't collapsing. Let's go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're going to take it to an easy back lunge. Try to keep your hips square as you do this. Just starting, getting the range. And then when and if you feel comfortable, you can add your hands behind your head. And when you get down, you can add a little bit of a twist. Hands behind your head. Establish the stretch through the back hip flexor first, and then a little bit of a twist. Let's go 2 more. And another slight variation. Same lower body movement. Let's change up the upper body movement. Back lunge and a reach. Back lunge and a reach. Back lunge and a reach. So just a reminder, again, I'm going to go through the new series of exercises once with you. You'll press pause on the video. You're going to want to repeat that depending on your time and what you did last week, anywhere between another 1 to 3 times. Then start the video again, and you'll join me for going back to last week's 3 exercises where we're going to try to beat that 3 minutes and 2 seconds. So there's always an idea of progressing beyond what we did in previous weeks. Switching it up to airplane. So depending on what your flexibility is, you can just aim to get the chest parallel to the ground. If you feel like you've got a little bit more flexibility, you can actually reach, opposite hand touch the ground. If you're even more flexible, you can aim to touch both hands to the ground. Just go to your comfort level. You want to feel a mild stretch, but within control. Don't want to pull anything in your warm-up. 2 more. And we're going to go into some squat warm-ups because that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing squat jumps. So let's get the toes straight ahead. I want you to squat as deep as you feel comfortable. From the front, what it looks like, toes are straight ahead, relatively straight ahead. In order to get the depth, I push my knees out. So it's an intermediate workout. Go at your level. For my squat jumps, I'm going to have my thighs parallel or a little bit below knees. If you can do that, great. If you're not sure, maybe keep your squat jumps just a little bit less deep. Let's go 2 more. Last one here. Good. Okay. Into some push-ups and an inchworm. So a little push-up. Walk your feet up. Drop your heels. Nice little inchworm. And again, push up. Walk your feet up. Drop your heels. Little inchworm stretch. Last one, push up. Drop your heels. Little stretch. Right onto your knees. Tuck your shoelaces under. Walk your hands forward. Wiggle your fingertips so you get a nice pull underneath your arms. Walk over to one side. and over to the other. And stand back up. Little out in hops again, just like we did at the beginning. One more dynamic stretch, and then we'll get into it. Just a reminder, this is a relatively quick warm-up. If you feel you need a longer warm-up, which I would recommend for the intermediate level, please go back and take a look at, I've called it Fundamentals 2 or Intermediate Active Warm-Up. So please go ahead and do that if you feel a little bit more, you need a little more warm-up. So just a nice easy quad stretch, balance. And last but not least, dynamic glute stretch with wall assistance. A little bit of a switch in between, running switch. Crossing the ankle over top, running switch. 2 more. And last one. Okay, so I will time this first interval to give us a ballpark for what to beat next week when we return back to this one. So every week, again, we return back to the previous week's movements so that we can see if we're progressing at all. So time is starting. We're going into our first series of HIIT 3.2 interval exercises. Ready, we're starting off with full depth, or as full as you possibly can, comfortably, squat jumps. We got 40, here we go. So time is starting, squatting down as deep as you can go. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, halfway. 1, 2, 3. Keep up the depth if you can. 10 to go. Come on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. There's 40. Okay. Next movement. We're going to be doing a push-up. Finish your push-up and then drive your knee at the side to the elbow. Push-up, frog leg to the side. 2. That's 4. 5. 8. Doing 16. 4 more. Driving that knee up as high as you can. Last one here. So we have to complete the set of 30 push-ups. At this point, go to whatever level you need to in order to complete those push-ups. So I'm going to go to my knees. There's 10. Little break if you need it. And that's it. 14 plus 16. Okay, into our horizontal pull-ups. So with this one, quick little breather here. You're going to pull up at the top of the movement. You're going to release your hand just slightly and then re-grasp onto the bar. So we're in a horizontal position. There's our movement from last week. So this week you're going to come up, quick little hand release, back down, up, hand release on the opposite side, and down. I'm not really truly releasing my hand. I'm just releasing the grip at the top. Ten to go. Keep the hips bridged. Little hand release. Remember the variation from last week? If you need to, walk up a little bit higher in order to complete the set, that's fine. 4 more to go. 1, 2, 3, last one, 4. Okay, so that took me 3:34 for today's new series of exercises. So what I want you to do, go grab a drink, and you're going to repeat that sequence another 1 to 3 times, depending on what your timing is, what your goals are, what you did last week. And then in a second, you can come back to me once you're done that. We're going to repeat last week's workout exercises, trying to beat that 3 minutes and 2 seconds. Talk to you soon. Okay, so you're back. You've completed however many series of the HIIT 3.2 exercises you're going to do, and now we're going back to the HIIT 3.1 from last week to see if we can beat that 3 minutes and 2 seconds. So if you remember, our first exercise, lunges 15 aside. Time starting and go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hips nice and square, knees not collapsing. 5 to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Switching it up to the other side. 15 reps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Keep it going. 7, 8, 9, 10. All the way through. 5 to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Good job. Okay, into our second exercise, which was our fingertip push-ups. Then we go into our fingertip push-ups. So we've got 15 fingertip push-ups from the knees. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pushing the pace if you can. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then if you remember, you have another 15 push-ups, whatever variation you can muster. 1, 2, 4, 10 to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then finally, we've got our horizontal pull-ups. Last week, I think we did 15 in the full horizontal position, and then we did our last 10 to 15 at a more inclined position. So that's what we'll do to stay consistent here. 8, 9, squeezing those shoulder blades. 10. Don't forget your option, your posture option. If you don't have 4, 5, 15. I'm going to do 5 more in the horizontal position and then come up a little bit higher. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 10 to go. From a little bit higher. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 to go. Push, push, push. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Time. Wow. We flew through that. 2 minutes, 40 seconds. Crushed our last time. If you were able to stay on pace with me. Fantastic work. Let that heart rate come down. And let's do a little bit of recovery. So find a wall, little chest stretch. So I'm placing my hand at 90 degrees against that wall. Getting a good chest stretch. How'd you do? Make sure you drink some water right after. If you did a good number of intervals, so your total workout time was somewhere between 20 minutes and a half hour at that high intensity, or even 15 to 20 minutes at the super high intensity, you may want to consider some kind of recovery shake. And if you take a look at my nutrition videos, I talk about what that should look like. 5 more seconds here. 3, 2, 1, and release. And let's go onto the ground. We did this stretch in your warm-up, so toes are tucked under. Walk your fingertips forward to get a nice stretch underneath the lats. Let the head go down. Some people like to do a wide knee stretch here in this position. That feels really nice as well, so play around with that. In this case, your forehead can rest right on the ground. You get a nice stretch across the upper mid back. Walk your hands to one side. And over to the other side. So we've done chest, we've done lats and side body. Let's go into hamstrings. We'll do a figure 4 stretch. So bring one leg in at about figure 4, placing the foot anywhere between knee, a little bit below knee, a little bit above knee. Go your, whatever feels comfortable for you. Reach towards that extended leg. If you can touch your toes, fantastic. If not, that's fine. Just reach to wherever feels comfortable. Try to keep this knee as relaxed as possible. You'll feel a stretch either in the QLs or behind that extended leg. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Switch to the other side. And reaching. Again, your choice where exactly you want this leg that's in the figure 4 position. Go with comfort level at, slightly above or slightly below the knee. And for a nice stretch down the hamstring. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're going to want to get nice and close to a wall. For this next one, we're going to do our glutes. So get your bum, probably start about a foot away from the wall. Come closer. If you don't feel a stretch, move further away if your bum ends up hanging up off the ground. So you want to be able to have this leg crossed over top of the other with your bum resting on the ground. Now, if you're like me and you're in that position, you don't quite feel a stretch, shimmy your bum a little bit closer to that wall. And then find that position where you can get a good stretch. In this case, we're letting the wall do the work for us. We're getting a really good stretch in through the glutes. We're holding for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Take it over to the other side. Again, you may be tighter or more flexible on this side. Just try to make sure your hips are square. You don't want the knee forcing your hips or torquing them off to the side. So you want them nice and square to your hips, to your knee position here. And hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Flip over. We'll go into a nice hip flexor stretch. So from a kneeling position, stagger your front foot forward, hop it forward, and I want you to drive your hip down to the ground. Getting a nice stretch in that hip flexor. Holding 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll do another variation on the hamstring stretch and into the calf here. Keep your chest nice and close to that thigh. Lift up your back leg. Move it back about an inch or two. Keeping your chest on your thigh. Pull or shift the hips backwards. Pulling the toe up. Now you should be getting a stretch calf through to the hamstring. Really try to keep that chest nice and close to that thigh. Using your hands to give your body support. Hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take it to the other side. So first we're in that staggered position. Drive the hip forward. So in this case, we're feeling a stretch in the left hip, the back hip. I'm kind of pulling forward, actively pulling forward with this front leg to create more of a stretch, an opening in that back hip. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now into that hamstring slash calf. I keep my chest nice and close to this front thigh. I lift my back knee, shift it back a couple of inches, and then shift my hips back, pulling my toe up, getting a nice stretch in through my calf and hamstring. Hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that's it. Look forward to seeing you next week for intermediate HIIT 3.3. We'll talk to you soon.